bit of fun to open it now and show you what's in it. So it arrived from Holland. One of my readers of the blog, Hube, who sent it, and with an accompanying email he told me it was coming, and he said it was in appreciation for the blog. He was sending me some things which were surplus to him in his workshop, and he thought I might find useful. And I am quite sure that that is the case. Thank you, Hugh. It was a lovely thought, and when I show the guys what's inside the box, I'm sure they will be quite envious. So here we go. So opening up the outside part, and there's another box inside. It is labelled Steel Ultrasonic Cleaner. I didn't remember ordering an ultrasound cleaner, but I had been thinking about getting one. But it's obviously not an ultrasound cleaner, it's got other little containers inside it. And so let's just see what is inside by some of them. This one is all labelled in Chinese. It does have the word electrical on it. And it is a rotary switch, 2-position, 380 volts AC, 220 volts DC, 1 amps, 4 amps, 20 amps. That would have been very useful when I was doing my CNC lathe conversion, but I'm quite sure that that will come in handy for other projects which I've got in the pipeline. It's got some folded sheet of instructions or specifications in there. I hope this is coming out okay on the video, and this one I would say is the same, and indeed it is. Oh, there's something else in that one. Look at that. Little diamond discs. Oh, there's a whole stack of them there. There must be at least 10 or a dozen. And a couple of spindles. That'll be useful for cutting off tiny bolts on the models, on the dredger engine, for example. That's great. Better check to make sure there's nothing else in there that I've missed. Well, this is better than Christmas. This is the best present, I can tell you. Alright, so what's in this one? Incidentally, I was watching this old Tony the other day, his blog. If you don't watch that and you're a machinist, then you should. And one of the listeners said he needs to change his manicurist because of the condition of his hands. And I'm quite sure if you look at my hands, I've been in the workshop this morning painting. If you've looked at my blog, you will have probably seen that. And they're pretty knocked around hands anyway with all the stuff they've done in the past. So what's in here? A series of knobs, and some of them are labelled 0 to 10, and the other ones are plain, just an indicator line on them. There's quite a few there. They will be very handy for something. Don't have an immediate use for them, but they'll be very useful workshop stock. Okay, now this one's got me intrigued. There are 4 beautifully made, highly finished metal parts. They have a grub screw in one end, and this spring-loaded strip attached at one end. I have no idea what they're for. So if anyone watching this knows, or Hugh, if you're watching this, if you could please let me know what these are for, I would be grateful. I have no idea. I hope you can see that on the video. Okay, another container full of lots of little bits and pieces. Some dial faces, 0 to 100. They're about 40 millimetres diameter. You can tell I used to be an obstetrician because I measure everything with my fingers. I can tell you that that is exactly 100 millimetres, and that's 40 millimetres, and that'll be accurate within a couple of millimetres. Obstetricians get very good at measuring things with their fingers, and I can tell you that that finger is exactly 22 millimetres wide. And I'll leave it to your imagination as to what that was used for. But I used to be an obstetrician gynecologist. Now, some electrical connectors, 3-pin, nicely made. They will be useful on my current project, or one of my current projects, which is CNCing a rotary table. A couple of electrical switches. They'll be lit up, I imagine. 220 volts. Right. Okay, I think we might just keep all this stuff together so it doesn't get lost. Here, this is fantastic. I can't tell you how excited I am about this and how much fun I'm having showing the guys. Okay, so what we have here is a 14mm R8 tool holder, I guess. Very nicely made. Unfortunately, none of my machines are R8, but I'm pretty sure that a couple of the guys in the club, local model engineering club, have got R8 spindles on their machines, so this will end up with one of them, I suspect. So what's next? Oh, Kennametal C-Series boring bar. Oh, this looks good. Oh, look at this. I hope this is coming out. So it's a very small boring bar. It looks like would go into a hole about 6mm in diameter. It's got a carbide insert in the end and a tiny screw, and that will be for that. I can't even see the serrations in the end of that. Beautiful. Gee, the number of times that I've bored small holes with drills, not having a proper boring bar for such a tiny thing, that will be very useful. Thank you. Oh, and I see another component for that too. Some spare inserts for it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 9 spare inserts for it. I'm not going to open that because I'll be bound to drop it. That's brilliant. And some more larger inserts. They look like 80-degree inserts. They're carbide, and they are sandvik. Gee, great quality stuff. I think I may have a tool to actually take those, but if I don't, I will have one pretty soon, I can assure you. Now, a small container, high-speed steel drills, 20 pieces, 0.3 to 1.2 millimetres. Oh yes, I see. Oh, and there's something else there too. So there's the 20 drill bits. The smallest one's 0.3. Oh, and here's some more. I'm not going to open this. Looks like there's about 10 further short, and I presume there's a 0.3 millimetres diameter. It's got 0.3 labelled there. That would have been really handy when I was fiddling around with all of those jets for the Trevithick dredger engine. Having a selection like that would have been brilliant. Still might need to. I'm not sure that I'm out of the woods totally with that dredger engine burning yet. So I'm going to close that carefully, put that aside. Okay, so this looks like a tailstock centre, but it's spring loaded. So that is a centre for tapping on the lathe. Very nicely made. Yes, I tend to use a fixed centre and just wind the handle of the tailstock in while I'm turning the tap handle with the other hand. So this will make that job a lot easier. I've got some primitive ones of these, but this feels nice and tight with no movement in it, and that'll work beautifully. Okay, another container. Oh, I can see what's in that. It's got more drill bits in it. Looks like there's about 10. It looks like they're about 1 millimetre in diameter. High-speed steel, HSS. It looks like it's a German brand, which I haven't heard of. We love German tools in Australia. Trouble is they're so bloody expensive. Love them. Okay, oh, a nice feeler gauge. Imperial and metric markings. And, oh yes, I can see a brass one there as well. I was actually going to buy another one of these, so that's well timed. That one, thank you. That'll be very handy. And I know what this one is, and this is fantastic. Let me show you. That is a boring bar. Now I know you're not going to be able to see it in detail with this iPhone video camera that I'm using, but I think it's probably carbide. Not 100% sure about that, but it's got a weighty feel to it. And the diameter of the tip would definitely be under 2 millimetres, maybe even just maybe 2 millimetres, I would say. I haven't measured it, and it's got the tiniest of tiny little spiky bit on the end for doing the cutting. So I'm going to put that carefully away so it doesn't accidentally get broken. And there are 5 altogether. This one's a bit bigger. This one looks like it's about 3 millimetres across, and it has a milled groove in the shank for indexing it, I presume, so that it keeps the cutter at the right angle relative to the centre of the tool, whether it's a lathe or a milling machine. Oh, and this one's ginormous in comparison. This must be at least 6 millimetres, I would say. And it's heavy. I suspect that it's carbide, although it's got a gold coating on it. I don't know if they coat carbide like that, do they? Would it be high-speed steel with a titanium coating? Not sure. Anyway, I'll see if it says anything on the container. It says Pico 050.7-30, whatever that means. Auftrag. I don't know what that means in German. And it's got a long number with a -4, one piece, made in Germany. Haha, more German tools. We love German tools. And a longer one, smaller diameter, that looks like it's about 4 millimetres diameter. These are going to be so useful for accurately making small holes. And a very short one. Interesting shape, don't know if you can actually see that. again, it's got the indexing slot in it, and yeah, that looks like it's about 8 millimetres in diameter. So those boring bars will come in extremely useful. I'll put them away somewhere very careful. So that's the end of the box. All I know is another one of those dials that is stuck down the side. I have to be very careful not to lose any of these parts. So Hugh, thank you very much indeed. That was a delightful present to get. I don't know how I can express my gratitude more than that. It's just fabulous. And so guys, I hope that was of some interest. You might let me know in the comments whether that was interesting or not, and I shall pay attention to your opinions in terms of doing this sort of thing in the future. So see you next time.